Have you guys ever had a pain in your body that just lasts a long time, or rather has lasted a very long time? I've had this like little pain in my elbow for years, probably like 4 or 5 years. It's just recently, within like the last couple of days, gotten pretty annoying. I don't know. I was doing like planks in the gym, and I think that's what really affected it. But like, it's annoying that people can have body parts that just hurt for like years at a time. Like, I've had this issue with like a groin, my back. I'm all good now, but like I just had this like issue in my elbow, and I guess I just need to take some time off from getting huge. But that's neither here nor there. I'm sure it'll get better, but what the heck is up, guys? Welcome. It is Monday. And it's just your boy here on the couch today. And Thursday, we have a lovely guest who we just recorded the episode. I'm sure you guys are going to have a great time listening to that podcast as well. A few things to touch up on today. We have the Ted Jones Comedy Show, September 2nd at 9:30 p.m. at Asylum. If you guys want tickets to that, check the link in my Instagram bio. You can find it there or at asylumnyc.com. We have 7 amazing comics going to be announcing the lineup very shortly. Guys, that show is going to be amazing. It's going to be like an end of the summer bash. I'm thinking maybe we'll get some beach balls for the event. You know, because, like, people love beach balls. I don't know. I mean, that's, like, the theme because it's going to be the last send-off before summer. Thursday, before Labor Day, if you guys are in the city, you definitely have to come to that show. And I'm sure, like, Friday won't be taken too seriously by work standards. You know, like, hopefully your boss or manager or whatever will give you a half day on Friday. But that show will be Thursday night, September 2nd, 9:30 p.m. It's going to be a phenomenal show. I really can't wait for that. So, again, asylumnyc.com. Check out the link in my Instagram bio, Ted Jones World, to get tickets. It's going to be a fantastic show. Also, side note, guys, this Thursday, I'm going to be hosting a show in East Hampton at Clubhouse. So if you guys are in East Hampton during the week, I'm going to be hosting this show, hosting it for BERNER, and we will also have a special guest there as well. So it'll be BERNER, and I will be hosting that show. I'm really looking forward to that. Should be great. Clubhouse seems like a pretty large venue, so I'm excited for that. It's at East Hampton Indoor Tennis, which is like near Daniels Hole Road. I know it's funny that like there's actually a road called Daniels Hole, but that'll be fun. That's in East Hampton this Thursday. So if you guys are in the Hamptons this Thursday, definitely come to that show. But if you guys want to just check that out separately, that's going to be the Clubhouse in East Hampton. And I'm sure you'll be able to easily find tickets to that. So what are you guys eating for lunch? I really want to know, you know, like lunch is so different for me each day. Like occasionally I'll just have the 2 chickpeas out the can, which you guys know, but I'll sometimes have a salad with like the vegan chicken, whatever it may be. Maybe I'll have a Beyond Burger, but also the past 36 hours, guys, for me has not been that great. I've been like kind of sick. I had a COVID scare, and last time I was on this couch solo, I was talking so much shit about like not wearing a mask, and because I'm vaccinated, I shouldn't be wearing a mask. But I did have a scare. I got COVID tested yesterday. It came back negative, but the past 36 hours, I've just felt like shit. I had a huge fever. I was sweating through my sheets, and that's also like an annoying thing. You guys ever sweat through your sheets, and like now you're expected to change out the comforter, the sheets in general? And like, I'll be pretty transparent with you guys now. I have still had trouble with this sheet put on my bed. Like, it's been popping off on each side ever since I changed the sheet. What was it, like 5 days ago? I still haven't been able to like fully put the sheet on my bed. So if you guys want to, or if anyone wants to come over and help me with this, I'd be really appreciative of it. But like, changing your sheets really does take a long time, and it's much easier if you have a partner to do it with. So I do have a cleaning person coming on today, actually, and I will not be here, but I'm looking forward to that just because like my apartment has not been cleaned. I get a housekeeper once every like 8 weeks or so, just to like dust up the apartment, not dust, I guess clean the apartment. How often are you guys getting someone to clean your apartment, or do you guys do it yourselves? I think that like it could be meditational, if that's like a real word, to clean your apartment. But I don't know. For me, I just like to hire someone, get it done like once every 8 weeks or so, and then the apartment usually feels pretty nice. So I did think that I had COVID, but I got a negative test, so I obviously am not going to get another one. But apparently each breakthrough case, like everyone that they've had, it's like 1 out of 900. So I was happy that I didn't have COVID, because that would have sucked. I would not have been able to do a lot of different things. But 1 out of 900 people who've had both doses of the vaccine actually have gotten COVID. So that's still like a pretty rare occurrence, that like if you have had your vaccine shots to have COVID, definitely rare. But I was freaking out. I thought I had it, and I'm happy that I didn't. But I don't know what I had. I just like had a huge fever, was not feeling well. And now, we're going to have to change out the sheets, because I was sweating bullets through those puppies. Not sure if you guys saw this like Field of Dreams baseball game, or heard about it rather, the White Sox versus the New York Yankees. This game happened like 5 days ago, and it was the most watched baseball game in the past 16 years. The game like went down to the wire, and it was a super interesting game. I mean, I saw highlights of it, but I think baseball needs to continue to spice things up, like 162 games in the season is just like absurd for anybody to have to play that many games. Like basketball has 82 games, football has 16 games. So baseball, I don't know if they should shorten their schedule, but they definitely have to spice things up in doing random stuff like this, like a Field of Dreams game. I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen that movie, but if you haven't seen that movie, check it out. Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner, your boy. Solid flick. And nice work, MLB, for bringing this back. I saw Max Kellerman at the Wallbounds in East Hampton like 2 weeks ago, or what was it, the IGA in East Hampton. Said what up. I was like, Max, I didn't know you took days off. He was like, well, I'm picking up my sister. What? I picked up my daughter from Massachusetts in sleepaway camp, and we had a nice little talk. Max, I told you to come to the Ted Jones Comedy Show last week. You unfortunately couldn't make it, but hopefully you'll come to this show September 2nd at 9:30 p.m. That'd be fun to see Max Kellerman there. If you guys haven't heard of Max Kellerman, he has a show on ESPN called The Max Kellerman Show, and he also does a number of segments on ESPN with Stephen A. Smith. But that was a fun little conversational piece I had with him, and we'll hopefully see him at the next show. Just want to remind you guys to write in your emails to tedjonesworld@gmail.com to have your question, comment, concern, whatever it is here on air. We do have a listener email later in this episode, but guys, just a reminder, tedjonesworld@gmail.com. Last episode, we had Jared Schwartz on the couch from Mama's Boy Comedy, and we had a great time. Jared, a good dude, producer of a number of comedy shows in the city, also stand-up himself, but we love having guests here on the couch. It seems like you really can't talk about news without talking about COVID. Like COVID, we're just going to have to live with for the X number amount of years. I don't even know how much longer, right? But the more people just don't get vaccinations, the more we're going to have an issue, right? I would think that when more people get vaccinations, it's going to be less of an issue, COVID in general, but we're going to be talking about this for years to come. I don't think it's right to shut down the country any longer, but states are implementing the fact that we're going to have to show cards and proof of vaccination to go indoors into places. I think that this is a good move. I'm not 100% sure yet if we're going to have vaccination cards necessary for the Ted Jones Comedy Show on September 2nd at 9:30, but we'll figure that out closer to the date. But you're not going to really be able to do anything inside if you don't get a vaccination, right? What does a person's life look like if they haven't been vaccinated? I know a few people that I follow on Instagram or on Twitter and stuff haven't gotten their vaccination, and they're against it. They think that like the government could potentially be against us in getting a vaccination, but I don't think that's the case. Everybody has their own opinion about it, but is it a little bit selfish if you don't get your vaccination? It could be seen that way. It could definitely be seen that way, just because, like, if you don't get your vaccination, you are more likely to be able to spread it, even if you don't have symptoms. You know, you're more likely to be able to spread the COVID-19. But I thought I had COVID the other day, and could I have spread it? Yeah, I could have. You know, if I did have it, it would have been an issue, but I fortunately didn't have it because I got my vaccination, and I'd recommend that you guys do the same thing too. If you guys notice, I do wear a lot of Ted Jones World gear here on the Ted Jones World podcast, but that's just how I love doing it. Every time I go outside now, I'm trying to wear at least one form of Ted Jones World, either the hat or the shirt. But definitely, if you see me outside, I'm going to be wearing a Ted Jones get up gear here. If you guys want some Ted Jones merch, send me an email, actually, tedjonesworld@gmail.com. We'll see if we can get you something. Hopefully, it'll be free of charge, but depending on like the volume and the amount of people that want some Ted Jones World gear, I might have to charge you a few bucks, but don't worry, it won't be too expensive. I would love for you to have gear. And anytime you come to a Ted Jones comedy show, we're putting out either hats or t-shirts on the seats, or after the show, we're throwing out hats or t-shirts as well. So make sure you get to a show if you want free Ted Jones World gear. I don't have cable. I'm not sure if you guys have like Spectrum or Fios TV or YouTube TV, but I really haven't had an issue within like the last 6 months of when I haven't had cable. I mean, I have Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime. I have my dad's HBO Max account, but in general, I haven't had cable. I stopped paying for Spectrum when I found out that like I was literally paying $111 to have cable and I never watched it. Or if I were to watch it, I was just watching NBC or like a sports game or something like that. Do you guys have cable? Would you guys recommend that I get it? I think that like I have been saving a lot of time not watching as much TV. And I'm also like, if I am watching any sort of TV, I'm usually just watching it on YouTube, whether that's like some Vice news or whatever it may be, if I'm watching vlogs or something like this. But I find that not having cable for the past 6 months, I've saved a lot of time. Not much TV has been watched here in the studio, but I'm doing other stuff in terms of like not watching TV, I guess. You know, like I'll be busier on my computer, focusing more on the vlogs and podcasts. But guys, we are releasing podcasts Monday and Thursday, and Ted Jones Vlog Tuesdays and Fridays. So 4 days a week we're posting content on the Ted Jones World YouTube channel. You can find this podcast. Hopefully you're listening to it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. And guys, leave a comment, rate the podcast. It helps out a bunch. And let your friends know about the Ted Jones World podcast or the Ted Jones Vlog. But we'll be doing this 4 times a week. And guys, Ted Jones Comedy Show, we're having about once a month now, trying to figure out what schedule kind of is the best, but I'm excited for the next show. And the last Ted Jones Comedy Show that we had at the Stand on August 9th was a real banger. We almost sold it out. We only had like a few tickets left. So hopefully this show at Asylum NYC on September 2nd will be sold out. A number of tickets still available, guys, so get your tickets at Ted Jones World Instagram or theasylumnyc.com. It has been about 14 weeks since I quote unquote retired. I guess I'm putting it in quotes because like when you retire, you figured you've been working at it for like 30 years, but 14 weeks since I retired from my dad's company, guys. So this is the only thing that I'm really focusing on. Only thing. I mean, this podcast here, the vlog, and doing comedy shows. And I'm having a good time doing it. The family business was real estate related. So I think I do know a good amount, especially about New York City real estate. The rents are going back through the roof. And it's funny that like summer is the hottest months for New York City real estate. I guess that's just because it's like the highest demand. People are coming back in the city. But right around September is probably the hottest time for New York City real estate, and rents have never been this high. Like I check out Street Easy probably once a week or so just because I deem it fun. and like it's interesting for me to like check out what the prices are in the neighborhood or whatever it is. And rents are high. Rents are getting super high. Like even in places in Brooklyn that were not as expensive 6 months ago, guys, prices are really going through the roof. If you are going to rent and you're trying to figure out what time you think is probably best, I would say that September 1st is probably the most expensive move-in date. So if you guys do have a choice, or like you're still living with your parents or you're close to the city, I would wait until like that October 15th kind of threshold. Like wait a little bit, wait until like the beginning of fall-ish, even though like fall starts, I guess, when does fall even start? I guess I'm going to ask Siri. Hey Siri, when does fall begin? Because I don't actually know that answer. Oh, fall begins September 22nd. So you guys should probably wait, until like October 15th to move in. I would say that like that's probably your best bet in terms of finding an apartment, like an apartment that you really want. But I mean, if you want to move out like a lot faster, then shut the fuck up. But if you want to move out, like, do it on your own terms. But October 15th to November is probably like the best time to find an apartment. September 1 is going to be super hot because people are graduating from college. They're moving to the city September 1. And your choice of apartments is probably like your pickings is a little bit slimmer in September because everybody is trying to find apartments and everybody's all over each other. Guys, July was the hottest on record, and I definitely felt it for sure. It's like you'll walk on the street, and then people shouldn't be sweating on the street when they're walking. Like walking on the street this past week, I've just seen people and like their face sweating. Like even myself, like after 10 minutes of walking on the street, I start sweating. That's not normal. Where can we go in the world right now where you won't walk on the street and you're sweating? Like even in Alaska, I feel like you'll be walking all over those ice caps and you'll still be sweating. What is the weather in Alaska? I guess I'll ask Siri right now. Right now in Alaska, actually, it's super nice. It's 52 degrees. Chance of rain is 90%. But I think Alaska in the summer is the move. Have you guys ever been to Alaska? Let me know, tedjonesworld@gmail.com. I would love to go to Alaska, and I feel like going to Alaska during the summer is a great time. Because, like, Alaska is, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like one of the only places you can go during the actual summer where you're just not sweating your balls off. You guys know what I mean? Like, if you think about any place in the United States, or North America, rather, if you go right now, it's hot AF. What's going to happen in, like, 10 years? Are we just going to be not able to even go outside in the summer? Like, you think about 98 degrees in New York City. Is it going to be, like, 105? And even in some of the places in, like, Texas or Florida, it's getting up to, like, 110 in Arizona, 110 Las Vegas. I don't know what's going to happen with this planet, guys, but we got to watch out for our CO2 footprint, right? Our CO2, not a CO2 footprint. Is that the right way to say it? Our CO2 emissions. We got to use less fossil fuels, right, guys? But I don't know what's going to happen with society within the next 50 years. They already say that we're way past the turning point. Like we got to go back and make sure that we're not messing up the planet any longer with like fossil fuels. And that starts with eating animals. Like factory farming really fucks up the planet, guys. So I told you before, and I'll tell you again, go vegan. All right, guys, let's get to this listener email here. We have Jason, 20 years old, from Livingston, New Jersey. Ted, I love your vlogs. I listen to your podcast when I am on my way to work, and I find myself giggling at random points during your podcast, especially when you have a Jewish accent when you say things. What does that mean? Okay. I am thinking about joining the club tennis team in college at Seton Hall. Do you think it'll be worth my time? Jason, thanks for writing in. Interesting question. What do you mean about my Jewish hour? I guess sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm talking, or I'll go have a coffee or whatever it is. Joining the club tennis team in college, I would think could be super fun. It depends on how much time, like it would take during or whatever it is, like how much time you'd be involved during the week, you know, like especially when I was on the tennis team in college, which obviously you guys know, the tennis team really took up a large portion of my week. Like probably 4 hours a day was dedicated to tennis, whether it was like 2.5 hours of practice and then an hour and a half of fitness. But I'd say like on a club tennis level, if you guys don't know what club tennis is, it's basically like you are definitely part of a team, but I would assume that like you don't really travel as much, or you just play against like other team members at the school, or maybe you actually would travel, but like you'd stay close to the school. And in this circumstance, I guess you'd stay close to, where's Seton Hall? I guess in South Orange, New Jersey. So would I recommend joining the club tennis team, Jason? Yeah, sure. Why not? I know a lot of kids that played like club baseball at UConn, and they had a blast doing it. You know, like the commitment is definitely not as much as like being on the tennis team or being on the Division I baseball team. But would I recommend it? I absolutely would, guys. I definitely would. Good question, Jason. And get out there, man. Have fun. If you guys want to play a sport and you're in college and you think you have enough time, definitely do it. It's not like you have so much pressure anyways. Just do what makes you guys feel right. Guys, Thursday, if you're going to be in East Hampton, hopefully you are, I am hosting the show at Clubhouse with Hannah BERNER. I will get you guys the ticket information. It'll be on my Instagram, but check out the Clubhouse in East Hampton website, and you guys can get tickets there as well this Thursday. Going to be super fun. I also cannot wait for the Ted Jones comedy show. Oh, I just like lipped this microphone. That tasted so weird. Ted Jones comedy show, September 2nd, 9:30 p.m. Hope to see you guys there. And we'll see you on Thursday with a very lovely guest. Ted Jones out.